he has done nothing right now to garner him being trade bait. Are you kidding me? No.
Dude, you're on fire today, man. I mean, the kid never have a chance to come back at third base. And Jalen Reagor, dude, nobody's calling for you, man.
They're not. What would they call for him for?
Are you buying that the Eagles are getting calls for Jalen Reagor?
Why would he? I've been seeing that.
Hey, what's out there is that the Philadelphia Eagles have been getting calls. According to some people in the Philly media, this is all being based in Philly, nowhere else. And they're saying that Jalen Reagor and the Eagles are having conversations with other teams. May I make a comment here, Barrett?
Yeah.
I personally think, this is the Eagles throwing it out that we're taking calls.
They're trying to create a market.
And their minions are trying to create a market for the guy.
Yes, that's all. They're just trying to make a market for him, create a market for him.
Okay, John Mullen is saying that he thinks that Roseman would take a 6-rounder for him. A 6-rounder. I would take a blocking dummy for him.
I would take a pack of Cracker Jacks, and they can keep the prize. Just give me the popcorn in it, because he nobody's calling for him. You can find that in free agency. You know what I'm saying? An undrafted free agent guy could come in and put the numbers up he just put up. I'm sorry, man, but he has done nothing right now to garner him being trade bait. Are you kidding me? No.
Dude, you're on fire today, man. I mean, the kid never have a chance to come back at third base. And Jalen Reagor, dude, nobody's calling for you, man.
They're not. What would they call for him for? We got a job at the post office? We got a job at the post office. That's what it is. And I hope the kid comes out and plays lights out. See, I told you, I played with his father. Me and Monty are like this, man. But Monty also understands the nature of what the NFL is. What have you done for me lately? And he's done nothing the past 2 seasons. You have to show me better, you can tell me. I'm from St. Louis, the show me state. You got to show me better, you can tell me. Given the opportunity to go out there, and they gave him every last opportunity in that 17-game schedule to come out and play at least a little bit better than he did, and he could not do it. So how can they commit to a guy that gives unproven results? Well, no, he gives proven results, proven that he doesn't deserve to be the second receiver, third receiver, or fourth receiver on this team. He has done nothing in the roster spot. No, he doesn't. Not at this point. I mean, this is an unforgiving league. Unforgiving. You know what I'm saying? They labeled me a backup, and it took me 4 years. 4 years of just playing lights out every time I had the opportunity in order to stay in the league because of that label. You know what I'm saying? This kid is given the opportunity for an entire year, and they kept pushing him out there, and he kept not catching the ball. He kept not getting open. He kept not breaking plays on special teams. I mean, it gave him too much. There's only so much gimme they're going to take, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to go out there and ball, man. Give me some results. This is a results-driven league.
How about show me you care a little bit, too, and some of those routes you don't run correctly. And, yeah, but, Barrett, the Eagles are committed now to, like, Olympic snowboarders and, signing those Olympic snowboarders and bringing them in now. We got a brand new guy, wide receiver. Hey, did you see the new snowboarder we signed? He looks like Xander.
At least he's a true athlete. He's a hurdler. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
He's a true athlete. It's not like they did have a guy that was a skier here. I forget his name. He was a skier, and they drafted him. I think he's from Colorado.
No. What is it, Riley Cooper?
No, Riley Cooper's from Florida, man.
Oh, that's
He's from the
right. He
deep
was one of those
South.
third Gator guys. I forgot he was a third Gator guy.
Confederate flag on his on his generally and everything, bro.
Hey, Barrett. One thing on that. So I got recruited by Ole Miss once. They sent me a video about how, and I saw what they did with that Confederate flag walk back in the day. The Confederate flag, the team came out and the Confederate flag was on the field. I went, I don't think so.
Right.
I went like this. Hey, man, I don't think I'm going to a school that had a Confederate flag on its helmet. And on the field, I said, that ain't working for me, man.
Bro, I used to love the General Lee and the Dukes of Hazzard, man. But once I really realized what that General Lee was, who General Lee was, and also what that flag was, I had to let it go, man. I couldn't watch it anymore, man.
You liked what's her name and them Daisy Dukes. That's all you liked.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, driving cars, that was my thing. Driving fast cars, being chased by the police, jumping creeks and all that. That was my stilo. I love that, man. But I just couldn't get with it after that. You know what I'm saying? Just couldn't get with it. Oh, there he is right there. Jeremy Bloom.
Chased by cops.
There you go, Jeremy Bloom, man. That's what his name was. I remember
that dude.
Yeah, skier from Colorado.
That's right. Yeah. He's another one of your legendary wideouts that you've had over here over the last 25 years to go along with those guys who've never had a 100 catch season in the history of the team. All right. But that could change.
When?
Jameson Williams is in town today. What do you make of that?
Oh, he needs to be in town. In fact, don't let him leave. Lock him up in the closet until he's better. Let him come out and rehab, and that's it. Make him stay here. He's one of the most explosive receivers in this draft, man. To me, he's number 2 wide receiver out of everybody. He and Wilson.
Why are you separating him compared to everyone else?
Well, because he's hurt right now. But I mean, talking about explosiveness, straight line speed, creating separation in his route running. I mean, he was just a great player, and just the mere fact that you see how many receivers are coming out of University of Alabama right now. It's just ridiculous, So Wilson, just because he's not hurt, will be the number 1 guy. I think that Williams is next. And then, it gets kind of, you got Burks. I think Burks and Olave on the same line. I just think the size that Burks has just setting him apart. The ability to do whatever you want to do with him set you apart. The only reason why I wouldn't want him to be I wouldn't say he's better than Williams. Number 1, he has that size, and I don't know what they would do with that size here in Philly. I mean, they have the same type of build guy in Jalen Reagor, and it's not working too good. The results aren't there. If you get a guy like Williams, he's going to command that you throw the ball to him. He's going to be open. And that's what Jalen needs. Somebody that is going to be open when he runs route. You're going to have the separation from the DB when he runs routes. The speed alone creates that separation. So, that will make him a better passer, having a guy like Williams in the huddle.
If they draft a guy with a premium pick, first 3 rounds, does that mean the end of Whiteside on the roster?
Yes. Unless he moves to tight end.
Or, how about this? Whiteside or Reagor, and one of those guys will be gone, or both of those guys will be gone if they go into the draft. Probably they keep Reagor because you got to keep face because of the first pick, right?
That's the only reason why he's a first-round pick. But, I mean, apples, oranges, it's all fruit. You got a guy in J-Jaw that J-Jaw had 2 catches last year. How are you an NFL receiver, even not being a starter, you only have 2 catches for an entire season? Who played, I think he played like 38% of the snaps.
Wow.
At receiver, you only have 2 catches?
That's
I don't
crazy.
care if they bring you out there as a blocker or not. You know what I'm saying? Even a tight end catch. Our tight ends have more catches than he does.
So is he designated for special teams and that's it?
No, he's on the field as a blocker.
So they don't even throw the ball to him and have him part of the game plan.
Dan, he's on the field as a designated blocker. Dan, he needs to gain about 20, 30 more pounds and become a tight end. You know what I'm saying? Be like a Shannon Sharp-esque type of – well, no, I ain't even going to say that. I'm saying size-wise like Shannon, size-wise, not production-wise. But, he needs to bulk up, become a tight end, and he might be a versatile weapon then. You know what I'm saying? That'd probably be his best bet. Because when you're a receiver, man, you get paid to catch, man, not block. You know what I'm saying? I mean, at the end of the day, they want you they have tight ends that can go out there and block. Running backs and fullbacks go out there and block.
Well, if he played 38% of the game and all he is being asked to do is block, and they're first in the NFL in running the ball, did he do his job or did they do the task that they asked him to do? Was he part of that run game? I mean, Barrett, it's one thing to say, and again, I agree with you 100%. You don't draft a guy that high for him just to be designated as a slug blocker. You get those guys in the 4th and 5th rounds, and you get them on those contracts, and then their next contracts, if they're still valuable to your run game, you pay them a little extra more. So I understand what you're saying. Too high. What was he, a second-round pick?
Second-round pick.
Second-round pick. That's way overpriced, way too much money just to be a one-dimensional football player. However, to his side of it, if they're the number one running attack in the NFL and he's on the field when they're running the ball on 1st and 2nd down and they're designating him for that, isn't he falling into the line of what they're asking him to do?
Bro, not even being on purpose, you're going to be out there on 3rd down. You know what I'm saying? You're still
I'm trying to make
running routes.
Kid.
No, you still got to run routes. No, we're talking about 17 games, an average of at the least 65 snaps a game.
That's incredibly high.
And you're not doing anything, man.
You're not part of the passing game. Absolutely terrible.
You can't do it, man. I mean, look at it. 17 games. There's 65 offensive snaps on the average. You play half of those snaps, or a little under half of those snaps, and you don't have 2 catches. By default. Even me as a goal line tight end when I played, I never got a ball thrown to me, but I have more of a likely chance of catching a pass than he does.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
That's ridiculous. That's what that is.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you why. And I was explaining this yesterday on the afternoon show. And tell me if you go down this line here, Barrett. I was telling Xander this too, because Xander, in his Alabama ties, here's when you're in a room, and I've been in a room like this. When you're in a room and you see 1st-round picks and you've got guys who potentially will be Hall of Fame guys, think of who Jameson Williams was in the room with, Barrett, the last couple of years. Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, okay, Calvin Ridley, okay, all these guys that you were saying are spread all over the league. And when Jameson Williams is lining up in 9-on-7s or 7-on-7, he's got Patrick Surtain on the other side of him.
Yep.
And they're going all week long against the 1st-round pick. And you're going against all those guys like that.
Sometimes, and Diggs.
And you're going against all of these phenomenal players. Then on Saturday, you're playing against Stingley at LSU. You're constantly going against and in the room with great talent, playing against great talent, and then competing against great talent. To me, that's why these Alabama wide receivers, when they come into the league, you go like this to them. Jesus criminy, man. You're going against the best kids in practice. You're going against the best kids in the country every Saturday. And look at the room you're in. Dude, just to get 20 passes or 30 passes at Alabama, you got to be somebody special, because what's the notion of this program like that? If you can't play, just like with us, if you couldn't compete as a freshman, man, number one thing, they redshirted your ass.
Yep.
They just redshirted you. But if you were going to bring something to the team, Jimmy would play your ass. That's exactly what Saban does. And think about the coaching that those guys are getting too. They got a pro coach as their wide receiver coach. Xander, I don't even know who the Bama wide receiver coach is, but I'll tell you this, Barrett. If I was an NFL team looking for a wide receiver coach, that'd be the guy that I'd be talking to right there, because that dude there, just like the offensive line coach in Philadelphia, who was a Bama guy, I don't know, man. That guy's been putting out some wheels in the NFL over the last couple of years.
I told you my guy Eric Wolford is not offensive line coach at Alabama now. He was my left guard when I was at college at Kansas State. Hey, also, let me stop. I got to give you your props, man. Ever since, you talked to me about Cross from Maryland, that kid from Maryland, man. I've been doing my due diligence, my research on him. Bro, he's explosive.
Yes.
He can play that high safety. He runs a 4.3 40. He's a dynamic type of athlete.
I don't know why he is being tagged a third rounder too. I don't know why.
Yeah, exactly. I'm watching film on it. He deserves to be up there as a first day draft pick from what I saw on film and the way I've seen him run, and he's a big hitter also. Wow.
I looked at him the same way you did, and I go, maybe it's the position, Barrett, that you don't draft a safety in the first round that high. And maybe it's because, you know what, if you look at the position, that Jamal Adams deal, dude, was a train wreck for Seattle. You don't give up that many first rounders, and it's been a colossal. To me, that Jamal Adams deal, when they had to give up all those first rounders, Barrett, in my opinion, that was the beginning of the end of Russell Wilson.
Yep.
With that poor move they made by giving him $20 million, and they gave the Jets all those first-round picks and high collateral picks. I believe that was the beginning of the undoing, that Seattle had to do this. We got to get some draft choices in here, and we've got to rebuild this football team. That was the beginning. So, Barrett, maybe the safety position is looked at, and you and I agree, I think, right, that safety is a tone-setting position for your defense. If you have a guy back there, Barrett, that could set the tone as your safety, man, they just like John Lynch's of the world, the Cam Chancellors, those guys set the tone for your defense.
And that Legion of Boom was led by Cam Chancellor and the other safety, you know what I'm saying, Thomas. So I guess they were trying to recreate that defense to give, you know, a little bit more of a solid base.
That's correct.
That defense.
Plus, Adams was pretty good coming off the blitz. He had like a double-digit sack year up there one year. I think the first year he got up there, I think he had a double-digit sack year, but he's falling completely off the planet. And I saw this guy playing in the Big Ten last year, and I watched him a couple times. You know, I keep an eye on Maryland a little bit, and I watched him, and I saw this kid cross, and I'm like, holy cow. So I talked to Kevin Glover. You know, Glover's in the alumni. He's in the alumni part of the Maryland Terrapins. He lives there in College Park.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, like, Barrett played with Kevin in Detroit. And he was a teammate of mine at Maryland, and a little bit when I had my cup of coffee in Detroit. He goes like this, Dan, you got to watch this kid cross, man. He is a hitter. He's got great speed, okay? He's got great closing speed. His hands aren't all that great. I'm like, well, I don't care if my safety doesn't catch balls. I care he knocks people out.
Right. But you can't do that these days, man.
Yeah, you can't.
But what makes him good, though, he's one of those guys you could disguise your defense with. He's fast enough, way fast enough that, all right, if you run single high, he's one of those guys that could line up. He could line up where you want single high, you want a single high, and you can line him up around the line of scrimmage. But he's fast enough to get back there and be in the deep hole just because he's so athletic. 4.3 40? Come on, man. This kid can do everything. And that's what these new wave defensive coordinators want. They want the Troy Polamalu's, guys like that they can be somewhere else and still get back and play the position they're supposed to be, deep in the hole. Or maybe if you wanted to run a too high safety and you want to, you know, make sure that you want to cover the run, he's fast enough he could cover the run also. So I mean, I think he's better than the two kids, you know, the kid from Penn State and Illinois, Kirby Joseph. I watched him, you know, broke some film down on him. Kind of the same guy, but he plays bigger though. You know what I'm saying? He plays bigger.
Yeah, that's the kid's name, right? From Illinois.
Yep. And then Brisker from Penn State.
Yep.
He's just a solid guy, a box safety, a solid guy. He's gonna go up and make plays behind the line of scrimmage when you send him on blitzes. You know, sure tackler. But he's strictly a box safety, though.
Have you looked at that? Have you looked at that corner yet from Cincinnati, Kobe Bryant?
Oh, you talking Sauce Gardner? Oh, Kobe Bryant. Yeah.
Have you looked at him?
Yeah, I did. You know, he's pretty.
You know what? The other guy obviously got no attention because he's a lockdown corner.
Yep.
But this kid got all the attention, and I thought he's a pretty good football player. And
he is.
I mean, like, you know what? Around the 101st pick, where
Yep.
the Eagles pick. I mean, if he's down there, they need another corner. I wouldn't mind taking a shot at him.
I think that's what the Eagles should really be looking at is a corner, in this draft. Get somebody, opposite a big play slate. Give him an opportunity to go out there and cover your number one, number two. He could cover a number one, number two receiver, and them not worry and hold your breath that every time the ball goes up in the air, there's nobody there to compete for it. They need that type of player, man. Nelson was cool last year, but they need to have confidence. And I don't think this defensive coordinator had a lot of confidence in Nelson, going through the season.
Let me ask you this about something that I noticed, and tell me maybe I'm wrong, because you look at it through the eyes of an offensive player and has a game plan against defense. Am I right when I say this? The perimeter speed on the Eagle defense, they don't really set the edges all that high. I mean,
they called.
Am I right when I say that? They're just not really fast out there on the perimeter, and they break the edges down on the Eagles sometimes when they get out wide on them, and I don't think there's a lot of team speed out there. Am I right when I say that?
It's not necessarily the team speed. You got to call an aggressive defense. Then they don't call aggressive enough. You play through your defensive coordinator. If you have an a-hole of a defensive coordinator that just a nasty type of play caller, then you play to that level of competence. You know what I'm saying? You want to be nasty. You want to play like that. You look at the early Eagles. With Seth and all those guys. You know what I mean? They wanted to just whip you. Their rallying cry was, all right, I want to see how the second team quarterback plays. I want to see how good he is because we're going to knock the first team quarterback out. When you have that type of mentality, you play like that. And if you have a defensive coordinator that coaches like that, you tend to take on the demeanor of your coach. Well, Gannon was not aggressive last year in his play calling
at all,
and it could be because he didn't think he had the players to be that type of aggressive. But you can't allow, if you have when you play against a quarterback that you didn't have a lot of respect for, he played that way. He played intense. He played like he wanted to dominate that guy. But then when he got against a quarterback he respected, he played off too much and respected him too much. He's got to make sure that he calls an aggressive game. And I think once he gets his players in there, I'm saying this because I hope he's going to call plays more aggressive for these guys to play. When he told those guys like slaying them guys to play up tight, you know what I'm saying? Not even man, even in his zone, play up tighter in the zone. Don't give them the first read. Make them go through the progression. Then those guys will fucking get there. But when you got a guy like Tom Terrific, he respects him too much, playing guys off 10 yards. Man, Tom just dumped it off. That's like, taking candy from a baby. You just going to just dump it off. You got to make sure you call. It doesn't matter who's a quarterback. If you're going to be an aggressive play caller, do it. That way these guys can take that demeanor on. Good, bad, or indifferent, they're going to play aggressive. And you'll win more by playing aggressive than playing not to lose.
There's just no question that when you saw some of these quarterbacks in there, and I'll give you the great example of what you just said, he was so concerned about being beat, was Jonathan Gannon, by the pass, that's why the Chiefs ran for 200 yards.
Yep.
I mean, they were under the assumption that Patrick Mahomes was going to throw for 400 yards against the Eagle defense. You know what Reed did? When's the last time you saw Andy Reid run the ball for 200 yards with guys that weren't really known to be big-time running backs, but they had 200 yards rushing against the Philadelphia Eagles, and I can't remember the last time Kansas City had an effective running back. Maybe when it was Kareem Hunt back there.
Yep.
But outside of that, Barrett, they were so concerned about the passing game that it was counterintuitive, like you said, to how they approached that they just wanted to play an umbrella defense against these big-time quarterbacks like Brady and Mahomes. They wanted to keep everything in front of them, and they were just assuming. And to some point, Patrick Mahomes was showing signs that he was impatient, and I thought he was impatient many times, and that's what hurt him at the beginning of the year, but then he kind of rallied it around. I want to throw something at you. I want to take a timeout, and I want to show you exactly what a wide receiver is saying on how it would affect a player like Devontae Smith. One of his teammates made a comment, and I'm going to show you why and get your response on this, Barrett, why it's important to have another veteran wide receiver on this football team or another guy with great skill. He's Barrett Brooks. I'm Dan Sileo. Please hit the like button.